Okay, we have our volume, mean absolute deviation, and changing dimensions test. First, we're going to find the volume of the following. Make sure you show all your work. On number 1, you have a radius of 5 and a height of 8. So your first step is to highlight your base yellow so that we know what our base is. And in number 1, our base is going to be a circle. And then we're going to highlight our height orange. Okay, so on your formula chart, volume for a cylinder formula is V equals big B times H. And then aside over here, we need to figure out what big B is first. So big B is equal to, well, big B, the area of our base is in the shape of a circle. So you need to go on your formula chart and figure out what area of a circle is, and then that's where your formula is. Once you find your formula, you need to plug in the numbers that you know so that you can figure out what your volume is. That's going to be your end goal. On number 2, you have a cone. Your radius is 5 and your height is 8. Go to your formula chart, figure out what the volume of a cone is, and then plug in what you know, and then solve for that. Number 3, you have a pyramid. So go on your formula chart and figure out what the formula for volume of a pyramid is, and plug in what you're given on number 3. Number 4 is a cube. A cube will not be on your formula chart, but you have to figure out how do you find a cube. What other shape is a cube called? And then substitute in what you know for the side length being 5 yards. Number 5 and 6 are both spheres, and we want to find the volume of our spheres. On number 5, it gives you a diameter of 12 inches. So you may have to convert that to find out what your radius is going to be so that you can use the formula on your formula chart. Number 6 gives you a radius. So it gives you what you need to know. All you have to do is find the formula for sphere on your formula chart and then substitute in what you know. Number 7 is a composite figure. You have 2 figures here. You need to figure out what figure 1 or what the volume of figure 1 is, and then add it to the volume of figure 2 to get your total volume. And then you will round to the nearest whole number. Number 8 gives you the base of the triangle as 8 centimeters, the height of the triangle as 4 centimeters, and then the height of the whole figure as 12 centimeters. You'll figure out what kind of figure this is, and then go to your formula chart and have the formula, and then plug in the things that you do know. Number 9 is the same way. We have a rectangular prism, so you need to figure out what the formula is for a rectangular prism, and then we have 20 centimeters, 30 centimeters, and 10 centimeters, and plug those things in, and then solve. Number 10, a triangular prism has a base area of 5 yards squared and a height of 2 yards squared. What is the volume? Now when they say base area, that means the area of the base. So the area of the base is 5 yards squared and the height is 2 yards. What is the volume? A is 10 yards cubed, B 20 yards cubed, C, 50 yards cubed, and D, 100 yards cubed. Number 11, a cylinder has a base area of 12 centimeters squared and a volume of 12 centimeters cubed. What is the height? Well, if we have a cylinder, figure out what volume of a cylinder is. And then you should have volume equals big B times H. And here you have your big B, and then you have the volume. So we're going to solve for H on this one. So plug in what you know and then solve for H, which is your height. F is 1 centimeter. Let's change this to A, B, C, and D. So A is 1 centimeter, B is 2 centimeters, C is 6 centimeters, and D is 12 centimeters. Number 12, the base area of a cube is 49 millimeters squared. What is the volume? So you got to remember a cube is a rectangular prism, which would mean volume would equal length times width times height. But with a cube, all of these are the same. So think about that and then solve for the volume. If you know the base area, which is area of your base, which is length times width, and that they said is going to be 49 millimeters squared. We got to figure out what our volume is. A is 7 millimeters cubed, B is 56 millimeters cubed, C is 343 millimeters cubed, and D is 2,401 millimeters cubed. Number 13, find the mean absolute deviation of the data set. Round your mean and your mean absolute deviation to the nearest tenth. So we want to round both times if we get a decimal. Your first step is to make a list of your data set and list it vertically because it'll help you. Next thing is to find that. Then you have to find the difference. Then keep going, and then you'll find your mean absolute deviation. Number 14, rectangle ABCD has a side length of 15 centimeters and a perimeter of 44 centimeters. If the scale factor of 3 is applied to each dimension, what will the new width of the new rectangle be? So we said the length, the length is 15 centimeters. So the length is 15 centimeters. But the whole perimeter is equal to 44 centimeters. And we want to know what the new width will be. The new width. And it's going to change by a scale factor of 3 on each side. So first we need to figure out what the first width is. Then we've got to add 3 to each side and find out what our new perimeter is. A is 18 centimeters, B is 47 centimeters, C is 10 centimeters, and D is 7 centimeters. Number 15, a rectangular playroom measures 12 feet by 15 feet. During a home remodeling project, the playroom is enlarged so that each of the dimensions is doubled. What is the area of the new playroom? So on the side, let's just draw a little model. And this is going to be our old one. We said our old one was 12 feet by 15 feet. And our new one, our new dimensions, and dimensions are just lengths, side lengths, is doubled. So from this one to the new one, it's doubled. And now we want to find what the area of the new playroom would be. A, 720 feet squared. B, 180 feet squared. C, 54 feet squared. And D, 540 feet squared. All right, so 16 through 20 says match the following using your formula chart. Stick your formula chart in front of you and find these. 16, volume of a cone. 17, area of a circle. 18, volume of a prism. 19, area of a triangle. And 20, sphere. And we'll put volume of a sphere. Okay? A, big B times H. B, 1/3 big B times H. C, 4/3 pi r cubed. D, 1/2 base times height. And E, pi r squared. So match those up and then bubble them in on your, or you'll bubble it in whenever we go on DMAC. Our bonus, we want you to find the volume of the composite figure. Again, these are multiple figures. You have to figure out what figures they are. And your first step would be to highlight the area of your base, and then you would highlight your height of each figure. And then you would have the volume of figure 1 plus the volume of figure 2. When you figure out the volume of each and you add them up together, you'll have the volume of the whole